Yeah, so I think when you put up big prize money like Capcom, players can the champion player can basically live off that money, and I think in that regards, it's a very valuable thing to do. But for Under Night and French Bread and Under Night, we are more focused on the fans, the gameplay and making sure that it's fun. And that's sort of more in our focal point is really focusing on the gameplay to make sure that it's fun and it's exciting, it's very rewarding, and just with that. And in order to do that, we're going to continue to enhance the gameplay through updates and make sure that the graphics are at top notch. Yeah. So in terms of specific plans for esports circuit, running our own tournament series, we can't really say like yay or nay, whether we have plans or not. But what we do, what I can say right now is that Under Night and well, French Fed has a couple of different fighting game titles, mainly Under Night Rebirth series and the Multi Blood series. And across those different games, there are player overlaps. And so, my hope is to, do some kind of events where we can sort of gather all these, French Bread game, fans and do something big and exciting like that. Right now, there are some player-led, tournament series that are occurring in Japan, and we are actively supporting those, events currently. And we also are aware that there are some on an international scale, there are tournaments like that popping up here and there, and so we are still a small company, so there's not a whole we can't do anything super big, but we want to continue to support these international events and scenes, and slowly sort of expand our presence, and yeah, and make sure then, and I think hopefully for the future, we can do something a little bit more bigger in scale so that we can sort of get all the fans around the world together in one place. Yeah, so we don't really have any strict requirements regarding local tournaments. We our only policy is to not make it harder for local players and the community to host events. And in fact, we actually want to make it rewarding and make it worth it for those efforts to be executed. So we like to right now currently, and this is only in Japan that we're doing this right now. But we do offer prizes, and sometimes maybe like a bonus poster or things like that, that make it sort of more rewarding for the community to host these events. And so basically, if you want to do a local event, that you're free to do it as you see fit. And we don't want to get in the way or hinder that process by adding requirements or things like that. We want to make it as easy and accessible to people as much as possible. And when it comes time for us to do much bigger scale events, then we would have to sort of think about specific policies and licensing and things of that nature. But right now, we're really just focused on supporting the community and doing whatever they want to do, and as a way of giving back to the community. So internally, we're a very small team. So right now we have three battle planners, including and then plus myself, that is sort of involved in these balancing this balancing act. And we do also put a lot of value in our player feedback, and so we get feedback via surveys. We also look at social media posts, X, Twitter, things like that. We also look at YouTube contents and comments and things like that. Those also are sort of in our radar, and is an important factor in our sort of decision making. And as far as our methodology, and again, because we're a small team, we can't just do this sort of trial and error method, because that just takes too long. It's just impractical. given our small team. So we sort of use a logical approach, and so when it comes to things like how strong or assessing how strong a particular move is, we try to sort of use different sort of computer programs and algorithms to sort of assign points to different moves, and then that way we can sort of have a sort of a comprehensive look at a different comparisons of different strengths and weaknesses of each character's moves and things like that. And so we employ this sort of systems, and we leverage technology to sort of help us gain an insight and an idea of what the current game balance is and where to make those adjustments. So right now, the balance as it stands right now, I think it's pretty well received, and we've seen a lot of great players, strong players use different characters. So I think it does have a pretty good balance at this point. And even from the casual players, the addition of the introduction of new mechanics and battle systems, make it a little bit more even as far as the character matchups are concerned, and so it sort of kind of levels out the matchup experience across the board. And so I think that's another positive feedback there in terms of balance. And when it comes to balancing, that's an internal struggle, and so we know that this is going to be an ongoing thing for a very very long time. But we do realize that timing is important. You can't just do small updates very frequently. That's just going to confuse players, and it also makes it harder to host tournaments. And so we want to try to sort of uh, you know uh, package updates larger packages more less frequently, so that it makes it easier for tournament competitors to get ready for the next tournament and things like that. And as far as what kinds of balancing we don't always just focusing on making weak characters stronger or stronger characters weaker, or buffs, debuffs and things like that. Instead of doing that, we try to focus more on how can we make it more fun and more enjoyable for the player. And so that's the kind of balancing that we like to implement. Okay, so I guess we'll start with Kaguya. So Kaguya was a character that showed up just at the tail end of Aurier's story mode in our previous installment of Under Night. And as you may know, she is, a member of the Leaf Christ. And she's sort of the big sister sort of character. And but we for her, so coming from that sort of inspiration, we designed her to be a little bit taller, and we wanted her to be like this double gunslinging play style, and with that, she had this sort of dancing, like elegant sort of movements, and so we designed her skirt to have these like long skirts that sort of flail around as she moves around in the battlefield. And in terms of her capabilities and her gameplay, we wanted her to also appeal not only to the existing player base, but also to new players coming into Undernet for the first time. And so we wanted Kaguya's sort of winning strategy to be intuitive. So after you hit the opponent, what kind of combos you should do, the decisions that you make there. We wanted to make it sort of intuitive for the player. And so the design is very much focused around that. However, that's not to say that we wanted her to be easy. We did want this character to be challenging and worth the practice, and worth putting the hours of practice and training to get the best out of her capabilities in her toolkit. And so yeah, that's the sort of overall direction and design inspiration from Kaguya. And so for Tsurugi, so in terms of his visuals, he has this giant shield, and so his design is really centered around that. So we have movements and animations that you wouldn't see with with characters that have small shields. So he sort of uses the shield kind of like a surfboard, and so it's these are sort of animations that are only possible because of that big giant shield that he utilizes. Um, Also, his name Tsurugi is in Japanese. Tsurugi is a name that stands for the word sword. However, he uses a shield, and so we thought that was a sort of an interesting irony that we put in there, and so it's really just it's all centered around having that shield in the gameplay, centered around the shield. Yeah, and so in terms of gameplay, he does use a shield, and when you think of a shield, you think of defense, right? It must be like defense heavy. But instead, we made it so that he's a very aggressive character, and he uses the shield not so much to defend himself, but to really break and go and destroy the other opponent. So you will see a lot of different overhead attacks and command grabs are very aggressive, and not very defensive. So we wanted to appeal to players that really like that aggressive play style. And lastly, in terms of Kuon and his sort of visual design, you may have seen in the previous franchises that he was always robed, and we didn't really see what was inside, under what he was wearing on the outside. Um, but now we can see, what he looks like under that robe, and you can sort of realize that he has a similar design as Batista. And so it's very apparent that he's got this sort of void, he's sort of this void existence, and he's sort of on the verge of being human and void and things like that. And so we wanted that to be like a very cool design, and a very sort of under night, just very reminiscent of this sort of under night in-birth world. And in terms of his gameplay, we wanted this character to really feel like a boss character. And so a lot of his moves and his toolkit is very flashy, and it almost looks very overpowering. And he also has moves that are sort of taken from other characters, and he sort of incorporates a diverse sort of toolkit, sort of pulling from different characters. And so, yeah, we wanted to really feel like he's, very, very, very powerful and very overpowering. So when it comes to Creeping Edge, so this is, something you probably, if you play King of Fighters, you might be familiar with the role system. So basically, it's just like that. It's a mechanic that is used to evade the opponent attack. And as you may know, anime fighters, this corner pressure is very, intimidating and overwhelming, and sometimes you find yourself stuck in a corner a lot. And so we add a creeping edge to give the player a tool to sort of get out of that pressure, corner pressure. So yeah, if you're ever playing and it seems like you're sort of stuck in a corner, you don't know what to do. Try using creeping edge to get out of that corner and give yourself some relief. So when it comes to celestial purple, this is a mechanic that is might be a little bit harder for beginners to utilize. The creeping edge is something that's more useful for beginners. Celestial purple is something that's more for the advanced player. And so what I tell for beginners is don't worry too much about celestial purple until you get a little bit more experience. But the way it works is that there's the grid gauge, those diamond icons on the screen. When that fills up, you can sort of use it all up, consume it to give your attacks these massive buffs. You also get, you can fill up your exist gauge to then, which allows you to do all your special moves. But in order to sort of utilize it and really leverage and take advantage of this mechanic, you really have to master the other surrounding mechanics. So if you see a player that's using Celestial Whirlpool a lot, that's a sign that that player is a very experienced, advanced player. Okay, yeah. Lastly, thank you for enjoying Under Night number 2. With this installment, we introduced a lot of different changes, and I think it's one of the most exciting renditions of this title. So if you ever have a chance to check it out, please check it out. Right now, the season pass is free, so if you get it, make sure you grab season pass. Get all the characters.